Time for more Earth Science. This is Norris Teaches Science with me, Mr. Norris, another Earth Science Edition video. And today I'm going to talk about human land effects. So by the end of this video, I can explain how humans have affected the land they use. So first off, the first effect we're going to talk about is overgrazing. It occurs when animals are allowed to graze in an area and the plants are not allowed to grow back. This is actually a very, very, very poorly managed agricultural practice. It's something that can affect the land for years to come. It also increases the erosion rate. When I teach AP Environmental Science, one thing that we talk about in this with this topic is something called the tragedy of the commons. A common is an area that should be shared by everyone. And what happens is multiple farmers will allow their animals to graze on the same land. But one thing that you can do is you can rotate land, have certain sections of the land, and rotate the animals through it so you don't overgraze an area. Logging is another way that we do affect the land. This is done by cutting down trees for a resource. Think about what resources do we need trees for? Well, we need it for paper, toothpicks. This is 2020, so we kind of need it for toilet paper because everyone went and got toilet paper during the coronavirus pandemic. Um, but there's two methods for logging: clear cutting and selective cutting. So clear cutting is when you just cut all the trees down in an area. Selective cutting means you only cut certain trees in certain areas, allowing them to grow around. And selective cutting is probably one of the better versions of it because it does hold the soil more intact. The problem with logging is that if you do it, you are going to increase erosion rate because the tree roots aren't there anymore to keep the soil intact. On top of it, the trees aren't there to block the wind for erosion. Another one is habitat destruction. You are destroying habitats. Animals do live in trees. And something called deforestation is a big problem. We are seeing that down in the Amazon rainforest, which is losing a lot of its um, surface area composed by trees. It becomes really hard for trees to grow back. It does take trees a long time to grow and be prepared and mature into life. Um, Now, also, trees are really important in our lives because they are plants, and plants produce oxygen, and we need oxygen to, breathe. So it is factored in there. Trees also take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. So without the trees, we could have more CO2 in the atmosphere. So deforestation, just a little bit about it, is the removal of forest or stands of tree. It's usually done for a source like for timber or for like coal, charcoal. I just realized I say a lot. We do convert this land to farms, ranches, and subdivisions. I do want to point out that the Amazon rainforest soil is not fertile enough to be really good for farming. Yet they still take those trees away to farm. A problem is when we take the trees away, like I mentioned, trees take CO2 out of the atmosphere. We take the trees away, there's more CO2 in the atmosphere and less oxygen being placed back in the atmosphere. An example of a big problem with deforestation is the Amazon rainforest. What you're seeing in the picture right now is actually part of the Amazon rainforest that was taken away to do farming. Fires is another way we affect the lands. Now, fires can be two ways. You have forest fires, which are known as controlled burns, and they're done by the Forestry Service people. And this happens every 4 to 7 years. They're trying to get rid of dead trees and stuff, leaf litters, because that can cause something called wildfires, which are natural or man-made. And naturally they can occur with like lightning or strong winds, and man-made because someone was an idiot and didn't listen and place their fire out like they were supposed to, camping, or threw a lit cigarette in the forest and it was dry and it caught fire, and it does destroy the forest. Now, fires do have effects. More fires bring warmer spring and summer temperatures. More burning forests produce more CO2 in the air. This can increase climate change and factor into climate change. But there is a positive side to fires. They do make the land more fertile afterwards. Um, so around here, sometimes farmers will actually burn the fields to get fertile land because the ashes and everything make the land a little fertile afterwards. But this is a little bit of how humans have affected the land. There's a lot more out there. Go learn a little bit on your own as well. But this is Mr. Norris. I hope you learned something, and I'm out for this video.